do the next challenge. Bush pilot, whatever that is. Short field takeoff. Okay, let's go. Damn. 60 knots pull up, or 45. Gotta pull up 45 knots. I think I'll still make these 2 videos. I'll just cut it when I edit them.
Now it's time for something more wild and challenging than just a run-of-the-mill takeoff. Not all runways are long, flat, and clear of debris. Let's try taking to the sky from a more rugged surface. Keep holding the brakes. It's a little more difficult to keep straight during the takeoff roll on a loose surface such as gravel, as you lose some steering control. With the brakes applied, go ahead and increase power to full throttle. This runway is shorter than what you'd find at a larger airport. Excellent. The engine instruments are all in the green. Now release the brakes and we'll get going. Rotate at 45 knots.
45 knots? Alright, rotate.
Now smoothly raise the nose to 15 degrees. Now that we're safely off the ground, go ahead and retract the landing gear.
Retracted.
Maintain a 15 degrees nose-up attitude to hold a climbing airspeed of 60 knots.
This is a damn small plane. Shall I retract flaps?
Now retract the flaps to improve our climb rate.
Alright, flaps retracted.
Great. Now keep on climbing straight ahead. Great. That's the short field takeoff in a nutshell.
Damn, easy. That was fast. Short field landing. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. I don't know if I can land like this.
Now that you've taken off from a gravel runway, let's try landing on one. For this short field landing, the terrain dictates that we need to approach at an angle. Start by deploying the landing gear and get ready for our approach.
Okay, landing gear deployed.
Short runways require an early touchdown and full flaps to minimize our rollout so we don't run out of runway. Next, fully extend the flaps. Go ahead and set the flaps to 30 degrees.
30 degrees, right?
Great. Aim for an approach speed of 55 knots. Aim close to the beginning of the runway so we have the longest roll possible, but be careful not to undershoot it. Cut the power just before touching down for a nice, smooth landing. Once we touch down, apply the brakes for a smooth landing that brings us to a stop as quickly as possible.
I crashed into the roof. Interesting challenge.
Now that you've taken off from a gravel runway, let's try landing on one. For this short field landing, the terrain dictates that we need to approach at an angle. Start by deploying the landing gear and get ready for our approach.
This is more like a real flight, huh? Dogfighting.
top as quickly as possible.
Oh yes! Look at this touchdown, huh?
You nailed the landing. The procedure is more challenging than at a larger airport, but being able to land on short and unimproved runways like this one opens up more possibilities for your adventures.
Yep, it does. Can just land anywhere. Hey, let's go. Mission accomplished. Updraft. Finding updraft allowed gliders to soar for hours at a time, except some turbulence and flying near terrain on windy days. Are we flying a glider today? No, that's not fun. Okay, so what's going on?
Mountain flying has its own set of hazards and requires its own set of specialized skills. Mountainous terrain, especially at high altitude, often creates dangerous turbulence, even when conditions appear dead calm.
Yeah, I can see a lot of turbulence.
Fly on the right-hand side of the valley ahead, maintaining 2,000 feet altitude and 100 knots airspeed. Air flows over mountains like water does over rocks, conforming to the topography both on the upside and the downside. Air forced up the side of a mountain by wind creates updrafts, often unpredictable ones. Let's ride this wave of rising air and soar along these ridges like eagles. With the wind out of our left-hand side, fly just above the right side edge of the valley to ride the updraft.
Ow, this wind is annoying. Oh, this is the updraft. We're flying upwards right now.
Now that we're flying alongside the valley wall, you'll start to feel the aircraft want to gain altitude. Maintaining altitude needs a slightly lower pitch attitude than usual. We're now ridge soaring like an eagle. Turbulence often comes with updrafts, so prepare for the going to get a little rough.
Okay.
Try to stay in the rising air to get a good feel for it.
I really want to land on a mountain or something. Down like so hard.
As we reach the gap in the mountain wall on our right side, the updraft will level off and then ramp up again when we reach the other side of the gap.
So there's updraft in the valleys, I guess. Yep. I don't think I did that bad for now. Oh yeah, I failed to keep the altitude. The updraft just kept on bringing me upwards. Nope, not this one. We're going to the next one. Airflow over the mountain beacon down the other side. That's true. So there's a downdraft. flying above the mountain, there's an updraft, and if you're flying below the mountain, there's a downdraft.
You've seen how updrafts help with lift as you soar along a ridge. Aim for 2,000 feet, this time keeping over to the left side of the valley, putting us on the downwind side of the mountains. The opposite of an updraft is a downdraft, where air spills over a mountain or ridge and descends down this backside slope. Keep over to the left side and you'll feel how you need to fight to maintain altitude.
Let's start going back up.
You'll find it difficult to maintain altitude in a downdraft, so keep a high power setting and watch the altimeter and be ready to work the controls, especially the elevator. If it gets too much, make a gentle turn to the right towards the middle of the valley. This will take you out of the downdraft.
I'm taking the challenge, man. Just gotta keep the engine going. Come on, engine. We gotta accelerate to 100. Oh, we're at 100. Good. Nice. Looking good there, mountain. Snow.
I think a bit more practice may be a good idea. Now that you've experienced a downdraft, you'll know how to react the next time you encounter one while flying in the mountains. Keep heading along the valley. You'll encounter them on the downwind side of terrain, where winds blow at speeds of 10 knots and faster. Try to keep your speed at 100 knots.
Okay, yeah, that was interesting. At the end, that was just flying like a fighter plane, doing all the maneuvers. Oh, water takeoff, interesting. 60 knots to take off. Why can't we? I don't know. Why can't we just take off at 55? Sitting in the water.
The Icon A5 isn't limited to hard surfaces. We can experience the glorious Alaskan landscape all the more with our water-going capabilities. To get started, let's look at a basic water takeoff. It's much more difficult to accelerate when in water, so you want to get as much lift as possible as quickly as you can.
How are we
To
opening
reduce
the
our
gears
takeoff
here?
run, we'll use full flaps. Set the flaps to their fully extended position.
Let's bring the gear up. Oh, we're gonna
Alright,
crash
we
again.
have the water rudder retracted and the gear is up. Now give it full throttle to get us moving.
Okay.
Use the rudder to aim for the gap between the island up ahead and the shoreline. Aim between the island and the shore. Where are you going? Aim between the island and the shore.
Going for a ride. Oh shoot! Wait, I was literally going to go into the freaking.
The Icon A5 isn't limited to hard surfaces.
I was gonna go into the island there.
We can experience the glorious Alaskan landscape all the more with our water-going capabilities. To get started, let's look at a basic water takeoff.
They want me to go over
It's
here.
much more difficult to accelerate when in water, so you want to get as much lift as possible as quickly as you can. To reduce our takeoff run, we'll use full flaps. Set the flaps to their fully extended position.
There they are extended.
Alright, we have the water rudder retracted and the gear is up. Now give it full throttle to get us moving. Use the rudder to aim for the gap between the island up ahead and the shoreline. nose just a little at 50 knots to get airborne. Keep full flaps set. That's it. Now reduce the flaps to 15 degrees.
I kinda already turned off all the flaps.
Now we can retract the flaps completely.
I did.
Good. Keep us climbing straight ahead, aiming for about 60 knots to get the best climb rate. Well done, but there's room for improvement.
What did I do wrong? I literally took off. Climb? I felt it. Okay, I didn't do that. Okay, take off. Well, that was good. Yeah, my climb was a little shaky, but I don't really care that much. Water landing should be pretty easy, right? What if I open the gears? Would I still be able to land? Look at that depth of field effect.
Bush flying brings a number of great do-anything, go-anywhere possibilities. We're going to land on the lake up ahead, so let's start getting ready. Bring the throttle all the way back to idle.
Okay, idle.
Let the speed drop below 75 knots, right where the white band on the airspeed indicator begins. Great. Now extend the first stage of flaps. Flaps 15 degrees.
Set.
Now fully extend the flaps to 30 degrees.
Set.
Great. Now keep the power low and aim for 50 to 60 knots. A little movement of the water is helpful, as super calm conditions make it harder to judge our height. Now we simply come in a lot like a runway landing, keeping our speed nice and low and touching down with minimum descent rate. Aim for a nice smooth touchdown in the center of the lake.
Roger. Cut engine power.
Once on the water, the aircraft will slow hydrodynamically. Fully retract the flaps to reduce our...
Oh. Yes, you can't open the gears in the water. Okay, let's do that again. Yeah, definitely do not try to open your flaps, gears in the water, because you'll destroy your plane.
Bush flying brings a number of great do-anything, go-anywhere possibilities. We're going to land on the lake up ahead, so let's start getting ready.
I already set the flaps.
Bring the throttle all the way back to idle. Let the speed drop below 75 knots, right where the white band on the airspeed indicator begins.
Is this a G?
Great. Now extend the first stage of flaps. Flaps 15 degrees.
Indicator? How much G-force can we?
Extend the first stage of flaps.
That looks like a G indicator.
Set the flaps.
I did set the flaps. flaps are set. Hey, flaps are set at 75. I mean 15. Hey, whatever. Just opening full flaps in. Into the water. Are you not gonna let me finish this mission? Because I forgot you set flaps up there. Bruh, they have to take off just... I'm fine with the takeoff. I don't understand what's going on. Let's restart. I don't know what's going on. Let's follow it just to make sure I don't mess up.
Bush flying brings a number of great do anything, go anywhere possibilities. We're going to land on the lake up ahead, so let's start getting ready. Bring the throttle all the way back to idle. Let the speed drop below 75 knots, right where the white band on the airspeed indicator begins. Great. Now extend the first stage of flaps. Flaps 15 degrees.
Set.
Now fully extend the flaps to 30 degrees.
Set.
Great. Now keep the power low and aim for 50 to 60 knots. A little movement of the water is helpful, as super calm conditions make it harder to judge our height. Now we simply come in a lot like a runway landing, keeping our speed nice and low and touching down with minimum descent rate. Aim for a nice smooth touchdown in the center of the lake.
Sounds good. Nice smooth touchdown.
Keep the flaps fully extended.
Oh man, why is that?
Keep the flaps fully extended. Keep the speed below 75 knots.
Come on, flaps. Pull out.
flaps to reduce our lift, helping us to slow down more quickly.
Looks pretty good. Fuel valve.
Well done, but there's room for improvement.
I just turned
Next,
off the
we'll put
fuel
all
valve.
that you've learned to the test with the bush flying challenge.
I did parachute. I don't know parachute. Oh well. Okay. Guess we get our last challenge of bush piloting. I can really crank out these videos fast. Oh, okay, this is gonna be a long one. Alright, let's go.
Now that we've been through the basics, let's put your bush flying skills to the test. We're going to take a short trip through the mountains to Dogfish Bay.
Okay.
Get set up for a water takeoff.
Dogfish Bay, what is that? Oh, okay, I don't really care about that.
You didn't get the airplane set up correctly for a water takeoff. Great, now get us airborne.
There we go. We're climbing. Decrease flaps.
Now bring in the flaps and keep us climbing to an altitude of 1,500 feet.
1,500 feet? That's gonna be really, really high. Let's start climbing. Oh, well, this thing is good at climbing. Which way are we going as well? Is there even a... There's not even a compass on this plane. What the hell? This plane has a good climb rate. It doesn't even have a trim, so... Like... Strobe, nav... on. We're climbing. Keep the engine up.
Maintain an altitude of 1,500 feet and head over to the valley up ahead.
Okay. Oh, this valley. I mean that valley over there?
Turn to the right here and maneuver through the valley. Coming from our left, so decide which side of the valley to fly over to avoid downdrafts.
Well, yeah, from the left, that way, so yeah, updraft is this way. Oh, we're gonna get real close to these mountains.
Keep an eye on your altitude, we want 1,500 feet.
Oh, yeah, we're flying a little high.
Keep an eye on your altitude. We want 1,500 feet. You didn't maintain 1,500 feet. Keep an eye on your altitude. We want 1,500 feet.
Okay, fine. We'll dive down. Happy?
You've chosen the updraft side of the valley, allowing you to soar along the ridge.
Yes, updraft. It sounds like a smarter plan.
When bush flying, it is always wise to do a flyover of the landing site first to check the conditions of the strip.
Alright.
Start a gradual descent, and we'll fly past the runway to take a look.
Looks pretty cleared. Looks very clear.
The runway looks good to me. Reduce speed to under 75 knots and descend to under 1,000 feet to prepare for approach.
Is it a landing? Or for a short field landing? Okay.
Take the first stage of flaps. Flaps 15 degrees. This landing will be on a short grass runway. Lower the landing gear. Finally, take full flaps and perform a short field landing.
Perfect.
Well done, but there's room for improvement. With these newly acquired skills, you can explore some of the globe's most remote, little-seen corners.
Yep, that'd be interesting. Alright. Ooh. Alright, thanks for watching. That was a good long flight. Well, it was still shorter from Sedona to Flagstaff. But yeah, that was interesting. Next time we'll do this IFR navigation. With looks like once you lose your visual reference, you are forced to rely on your cockpit instruments. Yeah, that's really interesting. Like no visual landing, probably instrument, field, something, navigation. Alright, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.